You guys, I just got done reading a 5-star read that I'm seriously obsessed with right now. And if you guys want to know what it is, you guys should definitely go check me out on Twitter or Goodreads because I'm like freaking out about it right now. It's so good. Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Shania. So today's video is part 2 in my 2020 TBR. If you guys didn't see my last video, I discussed all of these series I want to read in 2020. So for this video, I will be discussing all of the standalones that I want to read this year. I do quickly want to mention that all of the books I'm discussing in this video are in no particular order at all. I'm just laying it all on the table for you guys, letting you see what I want to read because I am a mood reader and I cannot be trusted to ever make a list in regards to what I want to read. So here are the books for you guys and let's just get into the video. So the very first book on this TBR is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This is one of those books that I'm really surprised I haven't got to yet just because it is a book that was frequently talked about on BookTube and raved about in social media and just in life in general. I know that it was recently a movie adaptation with it and I haven't watched it yet just because I do want to read it before I watch the movie and I need to hurry up because I think I heard that HBO is taking the movie off in February, so I need to hurry up and read it so I can still watch it before the end of the month is up. But if you guys haven't heard of The Hate You Give, it is about a young girl who grew up in a poor neighborhood but is making the transition into a new, more fancy, rich type of suburban area. But on one unfortunate night, she is out with her best friend and there is an encounter with a police officer which inevitably ends up with her best friend being killed. As I've already mentioned, I do really want to get to this one because I do think it is a very important story. While it is fictional, it is, to me, based off real events that are happening in America currently. So I do really want to get to this one and I'm excited to see how Angie Thomas really handles these trouble situations and deals with the problems that we really do have as a society. This next book is one that I have been really wanting to get to because it is by an author who wrote my favorite book of 2019. I absolutely loved it and I need to get to this one. Out of all of these books I'm going to be talking about is the one that I'm most excited to read because it is by an author who wrote my favorite book from 2019 and I have to read this one. And that book is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Jenkins Reid. If you guys haven't seen my video where I talk about all of my top 2019 favorites of the year, I talked about how Daisy Jones and the Six was my absolute favorite standalone of all time. And so from that, I feel like I have to read more Jenkins Reid's books because I absolutely loved her writing style. And I know that a lot of people say that The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is better than Daisy Jones and the Six. And I really want to see for myself and see if I vary on that because, like I said, Daisy Jones is really high up on that level and I want to know if maybe 7 Husbands is going to beat that. But if you guys haven't heard of The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, it is about the movie icon Evelyn Hugo and she is ready to tell her story after all of these years and she ends up choosing a magazine reporter, Monique, to write her story. Now, Monique is dealing with tough situations right now in her own life. Her husband left her and she's ready to have a jump start on her career and she is astounded with everybody else that she was chosen by Evelyn to write her story. I have heard that this book is also written in a interview format like Daisy Jones, so I'm excited to see that again, and I've also heard that the audiobook for this one is fantastic as well. One thing that I really love about Daisy Jones that I feel is going to be a very pertinent trait in this book as well is the fact that Jenkins Reid can really make you feel the emotions of the characters even though you're not even in their point of view or their perspective. Like, you're just seeing it through their words and how they're handling it. Like, you're not actually getting any facial expressions or anything like that. You're just getting their words, and the fact that she can make it so powerful and so emotionally driven just through that is incredible. And I feel like it's going to be, like I said, a pertinent trait in this book as well, and I can't wait to see how the emotions run with this one. The next book is a classic, and I'm not gonna lie with you guys, I want to read this book because I went and saw the movie first, and I feel like I'm cheating in a way, but that is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. If you guys haven't heard of this book or seen any of the adaptations, it deals with 4 young sisters and their relationships with each other and also the struggles that they deal with during the Civil War. I think another powerful message with this book that I've heard anyways, and that I really felt when I saw the movie. Again, I know it's kind of cheating. You can't really know exactly what happens in the books based off the movie, but there's a strong message in regards to being a woman, especially during the 19th century, and how there are a lot of struggles and how a woman is dictated based on love and being married and having children and not actually her own independence. And I believe that the movie is not just based on the book, it's actually also based on the author Louisa May Alcott's life as well, and her struggles in regards to her own life and what it was like being a woman that wanted to write. But all in all, I'm really excited to see what my thoughts are on this book and how, it compares to the movie, because that's what you're going to do when you go see a book adaptation. You're going to compare the book to the movie, and I'm okay with that, and I want to see what my thoughts are, because if I really enjoyed the movie that much, I feel like I'm really going to enjoy the book as well. The next book is one that I actually physically own, and I've been wanting to get to for a while, but that is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I feel like Blake Crouch has been a really talked about author lately, especially with his last book, Recursion. I think it was Recursion, right? And that book got a lot of hype in regards to how good of a thriller it was, but I also know that a lot of people have said that Recursion is not as good as Dark Matter. So I've been really wanting to get to this one. This book deals with a man named Jason who has a pretty average life, I would say. He's a physics professor, he has a wife and child, and they have a very nice and comfy home. But one day his life is turned upside down when he gets kidnapped by a masked man who ends up injecting him with a mysterious substance. When he wakes up, he is in a world that is no longer what he is used to. His wife is no longer his wife, his house is no longer his house, his son is no longer his son, and he is living a completely different life. Other than that, though, I don't really know much more about this book, and I'm okay with that, because when it comes to thrillers, I honestly don't want to know very much, because the whole journey of the book is learning about everything and figuring out all these clues and whatnot. So I don't want to know much more than what I already know, and what I know right now is I'm intrigued. Also, I'm not really sure why, but this book is like giving me serious It's a Wonderful Life vibes. If you guys have seen that Christmas movie, it's like from the 1940s. But in that movie, the guy ends up living a completely different life. And I feel like that's kind of like this book. So It's a Wonderful Life is like my favorite Christmas movie. So I'm really excited for the fact that I'm getting serious It's a Wonderful Life vibes from this. And it makes me want to read it that much more. This next book is one that I legit don't think I have heard a single bad review about. Everybody is just loving this book, and I know it got like the top romance and top debut novel on Goodreads Choice Awards, but that book is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. This book is a romance between the first son of the President of the United States and the Prince of Wales. I also believe that this book is kind of a enemies to lovers. The two do not like each other at all in the beginning, but eventually something along the way makes them decide that they're not that bad of a person and they actually love each other. If you guys have been watching for a while, then you guys know that any book that deals with an enemies to lovers trope is going to just hook me in, because I'm obsessed with that trope. It's the best trope. But it's like the best trope when you do it right. Like, you have to do enemies to friends to lovers. You can't just go enemies to lovers. Like, it has to be like, there has to be a bond happening there, or like some sort of, oh, I messed up, or something like that. So I'm really excited to read this one, and it doesn't hurt for the fact that so many people like it, and it's just making me want to read it that much more and see what my own thoughts on this book are going to be. The next standalone that I want to get to in 2020 is one that is, again, raved about constantly, but it is an epic fantasy book called The Priori of the Orange Tree. This book, I know, sways a lot of people from reading it because it is a more daunting size. I believe it comes in around 860-ish pages or something like that. I know it's in the 800 mark. And again, it's an epic fantasy that deals with crumbling monarchies and dragons, most importantly dragons, because that is what really got me wanting to read this, and also political disagreements or issues. The reasons for why I want to read this are not only for the fact that a lot of people talk about this book and say that it's one of their favorite fantasy books of all time, but also because I've heard it has a lot of undertones from Game of Thrones, and there are some comparisons that can be made there. And if you guys know me, you guys know I am obsessed with Game of Thrones. I just love that series so much, and the TV show is by far my favorite TV show of all time. And so if anything is going to be compared to that, then I definitely have to read it. And while a lot of people do say it's a very daunting size, Honestly, I have read such long books now that I don't even think 800 pages is really that daunting anymore, for the fact that I read It last year, which was over 1,000 pages, and also Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J Maas is like almost 1,000 pages. So 800, whatever, we can do it, especially if it's only a standalone. Alright, the next standalone on this TBR is House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. Out of all the books that I've ever read or ever wanted to read in the entire world, this book intimidates me the most. I honestly don't know if I've ever been more scared of a book ever. This book terrifies me, and it's just for the fact that it's like a multimedia type of book where there's a lot of things happening within it in the pages. It's not just a strict, typical book that you just flip through and read. No, this is a journey, you guys. This is going to be a project. A lot of effort and time went into this, and I want to put a lot of effort and time into it as well. So I do not want to just rush through this. I want to give it part of my soul. I'm just so excited to read it, but I'm so scared. I'm so scared. I feel like this book is like love. And for the fact that you're terrified to take the fall, it's a leap of faith, and you're hoping it'll hang on and take you to the end, but you know that there's going to be just the best outcome when you finish, and it's so scary. I'm so scared to read this book, you guys. If you guys haven't heard of this beautiful book, it is a story that I honestly don't even really know about because I don't know if it's true, but if you guys read the synopsis, it's a story that I guess has been carried down from person to person, from year to year, and no one has ever really written the story down. But finally, it was collected, all the research was done, and it was put in a book, and now we have this beautiful, beautiful horror book that I have heard has been the scariest book to read. But that's not the reason why this book terrifies me. It's not the fact that it's a horror book from hell. It's not that. It's the fact that it is a multimedia book, and it is so beautiful inside, you guys. Okay, so like, let me show you. So like, these pages look pretty normal, right? Like a typical book, you know, like, but right here, if you guys can see, that's red font, crossed out, a little bit different, right? A little bit intriguing. Until you get to shit like this, okay? Then you get weird stuff happening, like it's at the bottom of a page. Whatever, we can still deal with that, right? Except then you get shit like this. Like, there's one word on the page, it's upside down. And then there's this page, upside down. So you're gonna have to like play around with this book, okay? Then you get shit like this, okay? You got this normal stuff, but then you got this. Like, what the hell is this? These are words in a damn circle, okay? Like, it gets so odd. You've got pictures. I mean, there's a lot of fucking work that went into this book, you guys. You can't tell me that you seeing this is not making you like, holy shit, what is happening in this book? Because it's making me feel that way. And I don't know, this is giving me some anxiety, but I'm so ready for it. But anyways, I'm excited to read this book. It's really just about a family moving into a home, and they realize that there's something a little bit different about their home, and the fact that when they walk inside, it's way bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. So after that little mini freak out for you guys, I just need to say that I want to read this book, and that's that. Alright, so moving on from House of Leaves, because I need to stop freaking out about that book. The next book that I want to read this year is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. The lighting keeps trying to change on me. I don't know what it is, but anyways, I have picked up this book twice now, and I have put it down twice, and it's really frustrating for the fact that I haven't read this book yet, because I've heard it's just amazing. It's a gut-wrenching story that makes you just bawl your eyes out, and I'm a sucker for those, and I haven't read it yet, so I'm really, really damn frustrated with myself for not finishing it. Anyways, from the 50 pages that I've read from this book, what I gathered from it was that there are 4 classmates that graduated college together in Massachusetts, I believe, and they end up moving to New York City together, and they all have very vast, different lives, different careers, where they have all of these different struggles, really. I believe out of the 4 of them, there are 2 that are poor, and they struggle a lot, and the other 2 help them in regards to finances, or at least I know one of them lives with the other one, but it doesn't really matter. Anyways, it just deals with these 4 friends and how they all support one another, especially one of their friends who is named Jude, and he is a lawyer that has some really traumatic childhood that really affects him going into adulthood. So the other 3 have to center their lives in a way around him, but it's just a story about love and friendship and just being there for one another and helping each other through the hard times. So those are all the standalones that I want to read in the year 2020, and I've been sitting here forever. You guys don't see it, but I've been filming for so long, and I'm ready to be done. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys want updates for what I'm currently reading, you guys can follow me on my social media. I talk a lot on Goodreads and also Twitter, and sometimes on Instagram, so definitely go check those out. And also, please subscribe if you guys haven't already. I would love for you guys to join the fam. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!